Alright, hello to all my guys, gals, and non-binary pals out there across the electrical ocean. This is Jazzman. Back with the game, we have Mr. Shrinemaster over here playing full faction Underdepths, and then Catastrophe playing full faction at W. And this is going to be the new Norglades map. Now, I was a fan of the old Norglades map. I mean, it was probably one of my favorite maps, just because of the interesting scenarios that could come from having, two main channels to the action. But here, it's looking like there's going to be three, so we're adding another channel into the mix here, with the addition of this mid font in the center. And it sort of reminds me of Elemental Plateau in the sense that this middle font is very boxed in by terrain. So themes with a lot of knockback, a lot of slam, Savage Tundra, Gale Force. But yeah, themes like that will do quite well here. And then other than that, we still got the normal bottom font fight and the normal top font paths you could have to contest. But it's a little bit more complex now than it used to be, and Catastrophe here could take full advantage of that. He seems to be running spirits, so expect his entire board to be stealthed for the duration of the game. But Demon Lich here is a nice matchup into the Wolf because of his magic damage. And this has sort of been my experience playing with spirits in the past, is that they're really high roll. Like you can have some really insane games where your opponent has very minimal magic damage, very minimal detection, and you can just pop off. Like they can't do nothing. They can't do anything against you, right? But on the other hand, you have some games versus Kathir Forest, and you better be prepared to open that anus as wide as you can, because man, stuff like Bowmage and Menelaus are just gonna shove their goddamn arrows into your tight little butthole and give them the beat down, But on the games that you do turn out, against a faction without those things, it does work out very nicely. So we've got the Bazaar and the Font contesting, and Shrinemaster here just gonna hop on towards topside with the shock bow. So a second Demon Lich, Shrinemaster showing his stuff, his knowledge of the fundamentals. Oh yes, magic damage, counter magic, counter ghost. Okay, write that down, right? So Umbral Wolf terrifying the Lich into the bushes. He's running off into the wilderness, living his solitary lifestyle in the woods. Mr. Unabomber in training over there, and Wolf is actually going to pin him to the bush. Now, what would have been sweet is if he would have dropped the relic here and then walked into Demon Lich's face, because then that would have blocked the Demon Lich completely out of the font, and he would have been fucked. Like there'd be nothing he could do to get by those two things, and that would have given Catastrophe a huge advantage. But sadly, probably his one and only relic at this point is in mid font, which he pretty much had to use because Shockbow is faster than the Disturbed. And if I were to hazard a guess, just completely wild off the wall guess, I would venture that guess towards Disturbed going topside. Just because of Disturbed being the annoying piece of shit that it is, likes to sit inside fonts and tear them a new one. So we've got two more deploys. I gotta keep the combat log open here more than usual, because everything is going to come into play stealthed. We have, was that a second Umbral Wolf? I think it was, down at bot side. And then Disturbed, of course, is somewhere. The other Dark Spectre is somewhere. They're just sneaking along, waiting for Shrinemaster to, I guess, make a mistake or whatever. But Underdepths, everyone knows Underdepths players have the biggest brains and the biggest cocks. Deep Elf Fanatic here. Now, Deep Elf Fanatic was one of the buffs in the recent patch. Manic, he still has his old toolkit Manic and then Surge, but he also got Reinforcement, and that would bring in some nice opportunities for defensive deploys, where you can deploy Glorious Leap onto something for a debuff to prevent escapes, and then Manic to run people down. So he also has Provision, which he used to have in the past, except Provision was just a blanket stat buff. It didn't matter what you equipped on it. It would always give the same stats. So Provision Defense now, though, gives him block, a little bit more tankiness. I don't know what you'd equip on him, though. I guess, the obvious is Mandate, and he does not have the new Archdemon race on account of him not being boxed. So you could do something like a Demon Shield. You could do, I don't know, what else does Underdepths have these days? That's good. Oh shit, I know the name. The Blood Draft, yeah. You do Blood Draft on him for like massive manics. Triple taps with leap, you know. But we'll have to wait and see what Shrinemaster has up his sleeve. For the moment, he's just going to take a pot shot at the relic and then back off. Did Catastrophe put the exertion onto the spirit? I don't think he did, because if you do Shrine Exertion with a stealth champion, it takes you out of stealth. So I wouldn't expect Catastrophe to waste his Nora on that. You just put that in to contest the font for a bit. But if Shrinemaster does capture this font here, we'll see if the Disturbed is still lurking or not. I mean, it only has 4 speed, so you wouldn't really expect it to get to the top font or the bottom font anywhere quickly. But if he is out of mid, and this Spectre up top will potentially have to contest. And the thing is, when you're walking into an Underdepths font, you do get de-stealthed by the damage, even if you're incorporeal, because I think you do still take 1. So Shrinemaster does have that advantage, being Underdepths. And a stealth champion of his own, the newly buffed Cave Runner. She looks pretty similar to her old build. Still has the bomb and reinforcement angle, but I think Flash Bomb, her upgrades changed a little bit. But it was a bit too subtle for me to know exactly, or to remember exactly what changed. So she's probably gonna, now he deployed the Cave Runner over here, so I'm guessing Cave Runner is going to reinforce mid, since Demon Lich on his own is pretty much all that Shrinemaster needs here in middle font for the moment. And it looks like the Disturbed Spirit is still lurking, or maybe that's the Underdark Spectre that swapped places. It's always hard to tell when so many champions are stealthed. And this is why I don't generally like casting games when someone's playing a stealth deck, is because there's like half the board is invisible. There's nothing to commentate on until, you know, something happens. Like you can't make any comments about positioning or, you know, what's happening on the board, because nothing is happening on the board. You can't see what the fuck is going on. What would be nice is a change for observers only to be able to see like all players' champions, regardless of whether they're stealthed or not. That would just make, you know, observing and casting games like this a little easier. Totally not a high priority at all. Slugbait, feel free to ignore this. It's just something that would make it would make my job easier, basically. But Demon Lich here down, and did he take aura damage from the spirit? He did. So that's another way you can tell that there's a stealth unit around, is because you're taking aura damage or passive damage or something. Dream Eater is the notable example in that situation. If there's ever a Dream Eater champion stealthed on the board, and your champions are being pinged, a good way to discover them is to find out which champions are being pinged in the combat log, and then just saying, okay, it's within 5 spaces of this guy, and if you have multiple champions in the area, it starts to get a little easier. But for the moment, Deep Elf Fanatic has discovered the Umbral Wolf. I'm not sure about that Hungry Dead. Cleansing Flame can just get rid of the Entangle if necessary, and yeah, it didn't really seem to impede Shrinemaster's advance all that much. So Umbral Wolf here can't really rely on his incorporealness to save him here. I guess he's safe from Demon Lich's attack, but I mean, Fanatic can just Manic into it and kill it, right? Because Manic is end of turn? Is it? Yeah, end of turn, and then Ethereal takes effect at the start of turn. So an attack here from the Fanatic plus a Manic hit will be enough to finish the Wolf. And okay, well, it looks like Shrinemaster is... I mean, he still can't kill it with 1 hit, but I mean, it does do some damage, I guess. I don't know why he would... okay, so he does do the Mandate. All right. As expected, typical Shrinemaster. So he gets the kill here. He didn't really need to do that. I guess he wanted the heal. But he gets the kill in the globe. And his champions are going to be encumbered by the Dead Magic Zone again. But he's in a good place. Catastrophe really needs to do something with those spirits. The Disturbed maybe needs to make a run for top. I mean, his Spectre can, I guess, sort of sit in mid and wait. But now that Shrinemaster has 3 fonts to 2... he'll be at a decent Nora advantage. And yeah, so right there, you basically just saw the usual spirit gameplay of, oh shit, my champion was discovered. Well, I guess it's dead, because spirits don't tend to have much to rely on otherwise besides their tricks. And in one sense, I do kind of appreciate that there's like decks where they're basically just there for gimmicks, and the gimmicks are annoying and they're kind of strong, but they're not like top tier meta. Because when a gimmick like this, like Spirit, like imagine if Spirits had had other stuff that could propel them into like tier 1 or tier 0 play. They would just be too broken. Like no one would want to play against them, and people already don't like playing against them. So we would just make them too much to handle. So that deploy at top or at bot wasn't actually a wolf. It was a Shade Striker. Interesting. So Shade Striker moves in, and then phase shifts. Demon Lich will be dead to the Hungry Dead. And phase shift will keep the Striker safe for a turn, and a second Blood Phoenix has follow-up here. I don't like the Blood Phoenix deploys. I don't hate them, but it's just I would have preferred like a dragon, like the Utterdark Leviathan, maybe, if he had the Nora. Because like here he needed the Dark Favor to get the kill, but this Deep Elf Fanatic can just walk into the font like right here and then kill the Phoenix in 1 Manic, and like then what? Like what are you going to do then with the Fanatic in your font? There's no way Phoenix, even in its rebirthed state, wins that 1v1. But looks like Shrinemaster is going for the Purifier that will take away the Incorporeal to allow Deep Elf Fanatic to finish with the Manic. And Mind Slicer Boomerang, I'm assuming onto the Spirit? Yeah, there it is. I mean, that does find it, and Demon Lich can only get 1 hit on that now. But it will be ooh, that's a perfect... Oh, no, it's not. Demon Lich has 15 damage, not 16. So it would have been a perfect kill, but Shockbow is 1 short, alas. Okay, so the Dictate, yeah. I was assuming that was on cooldown, but Demon Lich will be getting a Swarm. And, I mean... Yeah, like, I would have put, like, the Phoenix in the font and then just moved the Spirit away, because... Like, Disturbed Spirit isn't doing shit versus Demon Lich there. You want the Spirit up in here, sneaking around back to this font. I mean, maybe the Spectre is sneaking around top to this font, but, like, you're already down fonts, like, and you just give up another one. So, I don't know, Catastrophe is not in a good place. Those globes are Shrinemasters for the taking. And you know what? It's nice to see Shrinemaster playing something that's not Kathir Forest and turtling. I gotta say, Shrinemaster, maybe he's evolved with the game. Maybe he saw the new patch drop and was like, I'm going to be a better person this patch. I'm going to not sit at my shrine all game and do nothing. I'm actually going to play the game as it was intended. But Catastrophe here seems to be playing the long game, dropping the Tomb. Dropping Tomb when you're this outnumbered on the board is not ideal. Tomb is like relics like Tomb are the best dropped when you're in an even board state or better. Because when you're behind, I mean, you can't really afford the tempo hit of the 35 Nora. But you know, he does have the top contested with the Spectre. I wouldn't necessarily favor the matchup here. I mean, Shockbow can come back, maybe do like a Retribution. Fading Recollection onto what? Onto the Phoenix? Alright, well, Shrinemaster just showing off now. He really... I guess he wanted the Swarm, because Swarm, I believe, would not trigger on a Rebirth champion. I mean, it should still, right? Because it dies. But maybe there is an interaction here that I'm missing because I've been away for 4 months. Anyway, he gets the Swarm in the font, and this is really not looking good for Catastrophe now. Again, I would just like Manic into this font and take out that Phoenix there. And I mean, like, Fnatic has block, and yeah, he does that. Grabs the globe. I haven't seen too many new champions on Shrinemaster's side. I'd like to see some more of those Bach ladies. Come on, drop something sexy for me. I need some eye candy, right? I mean, Cave Runner is fine. And, you know, Shockbow is fine, but she's no Bloodguard. She's no, Deep Elf Masochist or Hikacian Arbiter, you know? But this Phoenix will be torn apart by Deep Elf Fanatic. I mean, Deep Elf Fanatic seems really strong now. I know it did get the mandate, buffing its damage to absurd levels, but just on its own, it feels like it synergizes really well with a lot of what Underdepths has to do. Oh, he manicked out of the font. Aw, poor baby. Poor guy. And then there's the Phoenix, and that was, I guess, a little bit... I wouldn't say that was unlucky. Like, you could have predicted that the Manic would do that. But he does Manic out of the font. Now, he should have block up, so it should be fine for Catastrophe here to just Hex and then maybe back away. But, I mean, alternatively, you could just rush that font with a Relic here, and then drop something tanky at this font. But, I mean, he's sort of banking on his late game now. being Forsaken Waste, having the Tomb, and then Spectre harassing. But he is going for the Hex, and Forsaken Waste doesn't have spells that can kill from this threshold unless he were playing against a Protectorate faction and could run Blight the Holy. And Blight the Holy does 20 disease damage, but not to Wrath units. I think Blight the Holy and Smite Enemy are two of the only spells that still have faction clauses, like faction-specific clauses in their text, because they both do less damage to spells of the opposite alignment. And I feel like alignment is maybe something that, like a development area that could be explored a little more in the game, but it would probably require the creation of new abilities to do that, and I don't think Slugbait has... He's good, but he's not god level good. He can't really like just conjure up abilities out of nowhere like that in the code. Plus, they would be totally busted for the PS4 people, and we have been kind of on a push to get the PS4 people more integrated into the main game because they got nothing over there. They're living in fucking Nevada desert, and we're in Las Vegas at the casinos, you know. So Cave Runner recontesting from the Shrine, and then the Shockbow. Are we going to see a Relic contest or just a Threaten here? Ooh, a Retribution on the Lich. That's nice. So that's a kill on that Spectre, and I mean, that should be game, right? There's no way Catastrophe comes back from this position. It was probably game like 3 turns ago, or well, 3 rounds ago, but Catastrophe is not one to surrender. Even when he knows he has been beaten by the superior. Okay, so yeah, there's the Relic contest, and now it really is over. Like he has no champions. I guess we can talk about Resurrection a bit. It got buffed in the patch. It went down a little bit in Nora, and I don't think the effect changed. Overkill, Healing, and Cull, and yeah, that's it. I'm pretty sure it did used to be 30 Nora, right? Yeah, so Overkill. So it basically does a little more damage, and you can run this with like the new Temptress, Punish, and the Void Raker, I believe, now also has Punish on a line somewhere. But it has some synergy with Deep Elves. Can't really run it. I'm trying to remember which champions have more like anti-AP stuff. I guess you could run it in like a Sundered Land split, but that would be terrible because it only affects Deep Elves. But yeah, Catastrophe can't even kill that Fanatic in his font, so he wraps it up to Shrinemaster. So GG to both, and we'll see everyone in the next one.